Right now at 5, authorities search for a suspected shooter after reports of gunfire in Frontenac.
And we've got our shower and thunderstorm chances increasing as we head through today. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a state sick leave mandate may have taken effect earlier this month, but lawmakers are still working to possibly change it.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday. It is no longer Cinco de Mayo.
No, it's not.
It is Seis de Mayo.
Seis de Mayo indeed.
Not necessarily as big of a celebration, but it is May the 6th. Happy Tuesday to you all, and hopefully you celebrated responsibly yesterday. If you were celebrating at all, hopefully you enjoyed the nice weather as well, because it was a gorgeous day yesterday. Today's going to start off all right, but then it's going to start to rain.
All right.
Let's start with that look outside, though. Downtown Pittsburgh, you can see not much because, the sun's not up yet. That's why it's dark. But we have some partly cloudy skies across the area, and clouds will begin to increase out there as well. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking pretty good as well. Somewhat deserted for this time of day. It's always a little eerie this time of the morning when nobody's out there. We do have some patchy fog once again. This time confined up north. Just before the show came on, just before the fog tracker updated, we were down to under 2 miles of visibility in Fort Scott, so that's improved a bit. But we're talking parts of the 69 and 54 corridors. You know the drill. Low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights, if you got them, slow down. Give yourself time to get where you're going. Future track. All right, here we are at noon. Ahead of this batch of rain, we'll still may have some partly cloudy skies. Most of us will start to go mostly cloudy as the morning progresses. And here comes the showers and the thunderstorms, and they will continue to increase in coverage as we head through the afternoon, into the evening, and overnight hours. Now, the one good thing is, at this point still, no severe weather is expected with any of this activity. We had enough of that last month, at least with this round of showers and storms. We're not looking at anything severe. Temperatures this morning are still not bad. Some of it's a little cooler. You can see Fort Scott at 46. We got some upper 40s up north, but we got a few more low 50s out there, so we're warmer than yesterday, and that's courtesy the cloud cover we got, some of the partly cloudy skies we have out there now, and that will continue to keep our overnight lows mild, at least tonight, possibly into tomorrow night as well. So partly cloudy skies to start, 62 by 9, 70 by noon, and we're looking at highs into the low 70s, back into the upper 60s by 6. And again, those shower and thunderstorm chances gradually increasing as we head through the afternoon and evening with a nice east breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. We have more storms tonight and tomorrow and into Thursday. We'll talk about that and have a sneak peek at the weekend forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a Crawford County judge sentences a man and woman for their roles in the fatal drug overdose of a teenager. The suspects are 39-year-old Tabitha Wilson of Pittsburgh and 47-year-old William Davis of Girard. Authorities say they had distributed fentanyl, which led to the death of 18-year-old Cooper Campidi. The teen was found unresponsive in his Frontenac home in April of last year. Wilson gets just over 5 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter and distribution of fentanyl. Davis gets nearly 4.5 years for distribution of fentanyl. Crawford County Attorney Raina Probert says fentanyl cases are increasing in the county, and her office will continue to prosecute cases like this. Authorities respond to a fatal crash in Chanute, Kansas. The crash happened on K-39 yesterday morning about 6. Troopers say a northbound vehicle and a southbound pickup truck collided head-on at the center lane of the highway. The driver of the northbound vehicle, Teresa Phillips of Chanute, died at the scene. The driver of the truck suffered suspected serious injuries. He was transported to KU Medical Center in Kansas City. Authorities are investigating reports of gunfire from a vehicle in Frontenac overnight. It happened around 10:15 Sunday night in the 800 block of North Cayuga Street. No injuries are reported. The suspect's vehicle is described as a dark-colored Chevrolet Avalanche. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Frontenac Police Department. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, a bill in Missouri would undo a voter-approved proposition supporting paid sick leave and minimum wage increases. Last week, Missouri began state-mandated accrual of paid sick leave, something voters approved in November, known as Prop A. But some state lawmakers hope to pass a bill that would change that law currently. Employers with fewer than 15 workers must allow workers to earn at least 40 hours of sick leave per year. Now, for larger employers, it's at least 56 hours. Now, under the bill, the requirement would apply only to employers with 25 or more employees who work an average of at least 35 hours per week.
Our business community needs to hear that our elected leaders also stand with them and want to make sure that we are a state where businesses can flourish and are not forced to these high cost mandates.
You just wish that some of these folks in power would say, yep, you won this one, and then move on.
The Missouri legislative session ends on May 16th. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Transportation Department is set to announce a plan to transform the air traffic control system. Plus, President Trump is set to host the Prime Minister of Canada amid the growing trade war. And we have a warm and mostly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Nation Watch this morning. Get ready to say goodbye to convenience fees. Now, you may remember a few months ago when the Federal Trade Commission announced it's cracking down on deceptive fees. Now, that takes effect next Monday, and the agency released a fact outlining how it's going to work. Now, live event ticketing and short-term lodging sites will have to list their total prices more prominently than any other price. Now, that means no more clicking through vacation home listings to find out how much the cleaning fee will be. Hotels also can't tack on resort fees not immediately reflected in the total price, and credit card fees won't be allowed to be added into a price later unless the business offers other ways to pay. And the big one, convenience fees. Now, businesses are instructed to describe exactly what fees are for and avoid phrases like convenience, service, or processing fees. Any such fee that is mandatory must be reflected in the total price. The Department of Transportation is planning on revamping the air control system. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the DOT will announce a plan Thursday that will transform air traffic control and remodel an outdated system. Duffy says the plan will address issues that have contributed to days of delays at Newark International Airport. Now, he also addressed the April 28th incident in which controllers at the facility that coordinates traffic for Newark lost communications with the planes under their control, prompting 5 controllers to take leave for trauma. Now, the incident has compounded existing staffing shortages and equipment failures and contributed to frustrating hours-long delays for passengers. And home sellers have a choice when they begin the process of selling their home. They can't list it privately or publicly before sharing it on the Multiple Listing Service, or MLS. However, there's a battle of private listings, and it's become the latest fight about the way homes are bought and sold in America. Leaders in the residential real estate industry argue the practice of listing privately is exclusionary and threatens to further chip away at consumer trust in real estate agents. Now, one large real estate brokerage is Compass is being accused of pushing sellers into private transactions. Now, critics say the private listing strategy unfairly pushes home sellers to make deals with buyers represented by other Compass agents, and it results in the brokerage collecting a commission from both sides of the transaction. Now, Compass denies accusations against it. The company says it's simply a popular choice for sellers to choose to list their homes privately at first for discretion or to test the market. Well, this morning, President Trump is hosting the Prime Minister of Canada for high-stakes meetings with trade expected to be a big focus. Now, Sunday, the president threatened new tariffs that insiders say could stifle the movie industry. Naomi Ruckham has more from New York as the Trump administration also escalates its fight against Harvard University.
Democrats.
Today at the White House, President Trump meets for the first time with Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, amid his growing trade war.
I guess he wants to make a deal. Everybody does.
Canada, hit hard by U.S. tariffs, has slapped its own counter tariffs on billions of dollars of U.S. goods.
I will fight for the best deal for Canada and only accept the best deal for Canada.
Then there's the president's new threat to impose 100% tariffs on movies made outside of the U.S.
I'm not looking to hurt the industry. I want to help the industry.
White House officials say no final decisions have been made, but the announcement stunned Hollywood.
Everybody's very afraid, that's for sure. Everybody's very worried.
Also Monday, the Trump administration announced a program offering $1,000 and free airline tickets to undocumented migrants who want to voluntarily leave the U.S. Migrants must register through the Customs and Border Patrol app, and payment is given after the person has left.
If you leave on your own, you can take advantage of legal programs, come back.
Meanwhile, the Trump administration has upped its battle with Harvard University, cutting off new federal research grants unless the Ivy League school meets its demands. Harvard sued the federal government over a previous funding freeze. In a statement, Harvard said the administration's terms would impose unprecedented and improper control over the university. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Now, President Trump's goal of reopening Alcatraz, the notorious prison located in the San Francisco Bay, continues to court criticism. Experts say reopening the prison would cost millions of dollars, with improvements needed to bring the facility up to modern standards. Yesterday, California's Governor Gavin Newsom called the plan a, quote, colossally bad fiscal idea. Well, still to come, more Americans are battling depression now compared to 10 years ago. We'll see what's behind the surge. Plus, Chris Warner returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. We'll talk about an odd couple. A pair of four-legged world record holders got together for an adorable play date, and you just have to see it to believe it. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Take a look at a pair of most improbable playdate partners at this casual canine hangout of the world's tallest and tiniest dogs. The gathering was arranged by Guinness World Records, which awarded Chihuahua Pearl and Great Dane Reggie their respective titles. The odd couple met in Idaho and, after a few tense and cautious moments, seemed to become fast furry friends despite a positively impressive 3-foot height difference. Another unlikely playdate, this one unscheduled, unfolded in Connecticut as a Walcott homeowner watched from a safe distance, taking video of a trio of bears enjoying their backyard playset. It wasn't all fun and games, though. The homeowner shared the vid on socials saying, "Love to wake up to 3 bears playing on our swing set and destroying our garbage." Finally, take a look at an angry bird in Atlanta that isn't playing around in a weird series of run-ins caught on camera by yours truly. There's no news here, but I'm an avid bird watcher and as such couldn't peel myself away from the scene of unsuspecting passersby repeatedly incurring the wrath of a brash bird likely defending a nearby nest. It even chased off a large hawk that entered its no-fly zone. Some were blissfully unaware of the winged vigilante's warmongering, and thankfully all seemed to survive unharmed from the surly bird's furious feathered foul play that unfolded on, wait for it, Fowler Street. This thing writes itself. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we have got some partly cloudy skies out there. Also some patchy fog, as you can see. We're going to break down the fog and our incoming rain chances when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 521 on this Tuesday morning. We are starting with the fog tracker, just like yesterday, and the same visibility, 5.8 miles in Iola. So we do have some reduced visibilities up around the Iola area. Fort Scott, you have improved. We're not seeing fog. So right now, at this point, the patchy fog we were seeing in our northern counties is now back confined around the Iola area, but still Give yourself time to get where you're going. Low beams, not your high beams. Skywatch Storm Tracker in our immediate area, just a lot of ground clutter, nothing actually on the radar. But what will eventually be on our radar is this thunderstorm and shower activity that's racing up from down toward Lawton, getting outside of Oklahoma City. Will continue up I-44 and into our area. Now down to our south and west, it has been severe. It will not be that way when it gets here, which is some great news. So here's noon on the future track, and here comes some of those showers and thunderstorms. Most of us at this point mostly cloudy otherwise, and the shower and storm coverage will continue to increase across the area as we head through the afternoon, the evening, overnight hours as well. We'll have scattered storms with this activity, and as I mentioned though, the good news at this point, between our shower and thunderstorm chances heading into later today, tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday, we don't have any severe risk highlight areas, but we do have general thunderstorm highlighted areas, which we'll take that. We don't need any more severe weather, but you can see some of these storms, especially heading into late Wednesday morning in the afternoon, could produce some heavy rainfall, so we definitely want to keep an eye on that. Watch out for that potential of flash flooding, as we still have had quite a bit of rain over the last month in the area. Showers, thunderstorms become a little more scattered as we head through the evening and overnight hours into Thursday morning, and then we'll just see slightly more widely scattered showers and storms as we head into our Thursday, but those chances will remain, and they'll actually begin to increase late Thursday night, and then by Friday we'll start to clear out. Mid-50s by 8 o'clock this morning, still partly cloudy. Clouds will increase. We'll be near 70 by 11 o'clock this morning. That's ahead of our highs today. A little cooler than yesterday, topping out in the low 70s, maybe some upper 60s in our northern counties with scattered storms, east winds about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Into the evening we go, still hovering around the 60s, and we're dropping back eventually the low 60s by 10 as thunderstorm coverage begins to increase. We'll be a little milder tonight, and that again is thanks to the clouds. It doesn't matter the time of year. They act as that thermal blanket. They keep some warmer air in down at the surface, so our overnight lows tonight a little warmer, back into the mid-50s. As we go through the next few days, again, scattered showers, thunderstorms continue. Mid-60s tomorrow, upper 60s Thursday, so a little bit cooler out there and below normal, but our overnight lows stay fairly mild, especially compared to the last few nights we've had. By Friday, early morning shower storms, they should be done. We'll have partly cloudy skies out there. Into the weekend we go, still expecting to warm up. 70s, even some 80s as we head into next week. And at some point next week, heading toward the end of the week, we do have additional thunderstorm chances that we want to keep an eye on out there as well. But another beautiful weekend ahead of us. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a growing number of Americans are suffering from depression. A study in JAMA found while around 88% of people said they were depressed in 2013, the number in 2023 was higher than 12%. Now, the biggest reasons are a worsening economy, increased social isolation, and healthcare disruptions that started during the COVID pandemic. And people who get vaccinated for shingles have a much larger risk of heart attack and stroke. A study in the European Heart Journal showed the shingles vaccine provides a 23% lower risk of cardiovascular disease that lasts for 8 years. Shingles is linked to a variety of heart problems. And teens with mental health issues experience social media differently than other young people. A study by the University of Cambridge found kids ages 11 to 19 with anxiety and depression not only spend more time on social media, they often compare themselves to others and experience changes in mood based on the amount of likes and comments they receive. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, social work students at Pitt State develop leadership skills while addressing community needs.
And we are calm to start the day. Shower, thunderstorm chances increasing into the afternoon. A look at the forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the Missouri Treasurer shares information on state-sponsored education savings plans in Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday. It's now May the 6th, and we've got another, at least good start to the day.
We sure do,
It's going to start to get a little bit on the damp side again across the area. Hopefully got time to enjoy yesterday. It was an absolutely beautiful day on Monday. But today starts another round of showers and storms for us. Not yet, though. We got a few hours. Let's start with that look outside, of course, downtown Pittsburgh. Skies are again mostly clear to partly cloudy across the area. Clouds will continue to increase as we head through the morning into the afternoon. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. Well, we've got at least a car out there, possibly two. Sometimes, like I said, they've been having, I'm guessing, bandwidth issues with their cameras. So that's what's causing the weird distortions. But either way, we can at least still see the sky. And right now it's dark because the sun's not up yet, and it's still clear, though. All right, some patchy fog still around Iola, Yates Center, parts of Highway 54 out there. We had a little more patchy fog across a broader portion of our northern counties, but it seems to have cleared out a bit based on the fog tracker information. But again, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them. And of course, just watch out for patchy dense fog as well in some of those areas. Here we are, future track by noon. We have scattered showers starting to roll into the area, and eventually we will see thunderstorm activity go along with that. Now, the good news is no severe weather is expected with this activity over the next few days. That's fantastic. But some of the storms we see could produce some heavy rain, especially as we head into Wednesday. So that does bring back at least flash flooding concerns across the area if you get under one of those storms with some heavier rain out there. Temperatures this morning, we've got some upper 40s up north and across the northeastern Oklahoma, parts of southeast Kansas. We got that mix now of upper 40s and low 50s. So a little warmer than yesterday, and will be even warmer tonight into tomorrow thanks to the cloud cover that'll start rolling in today. All right, partly cloudy to start, 62 by 9, 70 by noon, low 70s for our highs, and then back into the upper 60s by 6, and again, increasing shower and thunderstorm chances with an east breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Our thunderstorm chances will continue for the next couple of days at least. We'll take a look at that, plus the weekend forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, Penn State social work students are stepping up and giving back, showcasing a lineup of philanthropic projects aimed at making real change in their communities. Now, from foster care support to mental health advocacy, these students are addressing some of society's most pressing issues. Many say their projects have a personal connection to them or someone they love.
Collected carbon monoxide detectors, smoke detectors, and first aid kits. These are items that all foster homes need to have in order to become licensed foster homes.
The goal was to try to get as many people on campus by tabling to raise awareness and to get signatures to present to this legislative session.
And I then partnered with all these resources you see here to host an independent living fair.
The professor says students gain valuable leadership skills while benefiting people in the Pittsburgh area. Missouri State Treasurer Vivek Malik made a stop in Joplin yesterday. Malik is on a tour throughout the state to spread awareness about the MOST 529 Education Savings Plan offered by the Treasurer's office. Yesterday, the Economic Security Corporation's Head Start program held an event for Malik to share the benefits of investing in an educational savings plan with Joplin residents.
A voluntary program, you can start it whenever you want, but the earlier you start, better it is for you, so that you have longer time period to save that money, put in that money, which grows over time. But there is no minimum set amount. You can start with $5. You can put in any amount of money.
Now, the Head Start program seeks to provide financial literacy classes to parents focusing on budgeting. The Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce announces this year's winners of the Golden Apple Award. The award recognizes teachers in the Joplin community. This year's winners came from a list of 52 teachers nominated by peers, students, and parents. This year's winners are Stephanie Lynch of Soaring Heights Elementary School, Aaron Geeting of McKinley Elementary School, Ann Landrum of New Heights Christian Academy, and Brad Douglas from Joplin High School. All of the nominees and those who nominated them were recognized during a ceremony at Missouri Southern. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Flower prices are rising as tariffs on imports could impact your Mother's Day bouquet. Plus, the IRS loses 1/3 of auditors, raising concerns over tax collection. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch this morning, peak season is upon us for all things floral, Mother's Day, graduations, weddings, and while the U.S. does grow some of its own flowers, the bulk of blooms come from overseas and are subject to tariffs. Now, there's concern that extra costs could wilt your budget. Michael George takes a look.
We get flowers from Ecuador, Colombia, Canada, Thailand, Holland.
Chances are the stems in your favorite bouquet have traveled, and these days that likely means a tariff.
We're going to do the best we can to sort of keep those prices where they need to be, but people can definitely expect to be paying a little bit more.
80% of flowers consumed in the United States are grown elsewhere. Last year, the U.S. imported $2.2 billion worth of cut flowers and greens, the bulk of it from South America.
The fact that they can grow year-round gave them a natural advantage.
Kate Penn is CEO of the Society of American Florists. She says domestically, small growers, many of them an acre or less, have flourished since the pandemic, selling at farmers markets and to a blossoming wedding industry.
The consumer does want to buy local, especially brides. They love to be able to have local flowers featured.
But even small growers like Moonshot Farm here in East Windsor, New Jersey, aren't immune to the fallout from tariffs.
The bulbs that we grow these from are imported from Italy and Holland.
Farmer Rebecca Kutzer-Rice says she just received her first few shipments to be hit with 10% tariffs.
We're estimating it could cost our small business anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 a year, which for a small farm is almost the equivalent of like a salary of another employee.
Industry experts say consumers can still get what they want, just set a budget and let the florist work their magic.
There literally are countless substitutions, and florists are just masters at creating something that's still going to make a big impact.
A rosy outlook, even with the added cost of tariffs. Michael George, CBS News, East Windsor, New Jersey.
Service has lost about 1/3 of its auditors. A new report from a U.S. Treasury Department watchdog says around 3,600 auditors either took the Trump administration up on its deferred resignation program or were fired due to DOGE cuts. Experts say losing such a large number of auditors could impact the federal government's ability to collect tax revenue. Well, an historic shoe deal, Skechers is being sold to private equity company 3G Capital for more than $9 billion. Skechers currently has more than 5,000 retail stores, and the company says it earns around $9 billion annually. Now, in a statement, Skechers said it believes the deal will help the company meet the needs of its consumers and enable long-term growth. And Bush's Beans is teaming up with Bluey, the BBC Studios global hit show about the lovable Australian blue heeler and her family. Bush's Bluey baked beans are gluten-free, fat-free, and vegetarian. Cans hit store shelves this month. Well, it could cost you more to repair your car. Another round of auto tariffs went into effect Saturday. Now, this latest round impacts car parts, and Jen Sullivan looks at how much more consumers could be paying.
Most car parts imported into the U.S. will now be hit with a 25% tariff. A CNN analysis found it could add an average of $4,000 per vehicle. Many in the auto industry are worried it could rock the entire car market.
We have to keep the vehicle affordable for Americans. That's the balancing act.
Even American-made Fords have some foreign parts, and those parts coming from other countries will be subject to the import tax. Last year, the U.S. imported over $197 billion in automotive parts from other countries, according to U.S. Automotive Aftermarket. President Donald Trump is hoping the tariffs entice automakers to open more plants in the U.S., creating more American jobs.
We have to look at whether these policies really change our competitors' commitment to America.
General Motors says the tariffs could cost the company between $4 to $5 billion this year. But the CEO says she doesn't expect those costs to fall on consumers in the near future.
Pricing is going to stay about at the same levels that it is.
This is the latest round of tariffs hitting the auto industry since Trump took office. Last month, the Trump administration implemented a 25% tariff on all cars imported into the U.S. And while consumers may not see prices go up right away, many experts warn that could change.
The tariffs have yet to really come into effect, and when they do, there's going to be a very different economic mood.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Automakers assembling cars in the U.S. will be able to offset some of the tariffs equal to 3.75% of the manufacturer's suggested retail price for the first year. And now to Chris for a quick look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got a few clouds out there now. Clouds will increase and our shower and storm chances will increase. Another look at your forecast when we come back.